Talkers, and this is News Recap. No fluff, straight to the point. Kentucky cheerleader is under arrest after she tried to hide her newborn baby. Oklahoma rolls out an America First teacher's test. A boy somehow ended up walking the monorail. Burning Man, a baby born, a man dead, and the Orgy Dome down. Shocking news. A 21-year-old University of Kentucky cheerleader, Laken Ashley Snelling, was arrested on Sunday after police said she tried to hide her newborn baby in a trash bag. She now faces charges including abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, and concealing the birth of an infant. Authorities say she admitted to giving birth and attempting to cover it up. The baby's cause of death is under investigation. Snelling is in custody, and it's not yet clear if she has legal representation. Burning Man 2025 has kept everyone on edge with bizarre and shocking events. First, high winds toppled the festival's notorious Orgy Dome, leaving its more adventurous visitors scrambling for alternatives. Then came a surprise miracle. A woman who didn't even know she was pregnant gave birth to a healthy baby girl in her RV with the help from fellow burners. But the week took a darker turn. On Saturday night, a man was found dead in a suspected homicide, lying in a pool of blood just as the festival's iconic wooden man began to burn. Authorities are investigating, questioning witnesses, and keeping a heavy presence at the scene. The victim has not yet been identified. A federal judge ruled Tuesday that President Trump broke the law when he used the U.S. military to help with law enforcement in Los Angeles this summer. The judge said sending National Guard members and Marines to assist during the immigration crackdown was illegal. The judge also warned that if Trump tries to send troops to other cities, it could create a national police force with him as the boss, which would also be against the law. Trump has suggested sending federal forces to cities like Chicago and even created a new federal law enforcement unit he says could be deployed to multiple places. Although sending federal troops to Chicago after the Los Angeles ruling could also be illegal, it might not be such a bad idea. With gun violence surging over Labor Day weekend, at least 58 people shot, 8 fatally. Some argue extra help might actually be needed. Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker remain strongly opposed, insisting that local police should handle the law enforcement. Meanwhile, community programs continue efforts to provide safe spaces for children and reduce neighborhood violence. Congress is back in session with just 4 weeks to fund the government, and no one has a clear plan. If lawmakers don't act by September 30th, parts of the government could shut down. Most people expect Congress to pass a short-term funding extension, but even that won't be easy. Republicans will need Democratic votes in the Senate, and Democrats are still upset over past GOP moves like cuts to Medicaid and foreign aid. Some Republicans want a full-year funding bill, while Democrats want health care subsidies and other policy wins in return. Talks are tense, and every delay raises the risk of a shutdown. The White House has also pulled some funding without Congress's approval, which Democrats say could create chaos in addition to the existing one. With the ticking clock, deep divisions, and millions of Americans watching, a failure could leave both the public and lawmakers in a scramble. President Trump announced Monday that Rudy Giuliani will receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor, just 2 days after the former New York City mayor was injured in a car accident. Not exactly your typical sequence of events. Giuliani, who suffered a spinal fracture, was a passenger in a vehicle struck from behind. The driver, a longtime staffer, also sustained non-life-threatening injuries. Giuliani has begun physical therapy. The Medal of Freedom usually goes to astronauts, actors, journalists, and athletes, but apparently unwavering loyalty to the president works too. Past recipients include the Apollo 11 crew, Simone Biles, and Steven Spielberg. Giuliani's career includes leading New York after 9/11, backing Trump, joining his legal team, and later being barred from practicing law in New York and D.C. after spreading misinformation about the 2020 election. Whether this award is for bravery achievement or loyalty, it's uncertainty, an unusual choice, and adds another unexpected chapter to American history. And things are heating up in Venezuela, and Nicolas Maduro is not holding back. He's claiming the U.S. military moves in the Caribbean aren't just about drug interdiction. They are part of a plan that could drag the region into a massive conflict. Maduro didn't hold back in naming names, directly addressing President Trump and singling out Senator Marco Rubio as someone he says is pushing for escalation. He warned that the stakes could be catastrophic.
Mr. President Donald Trump, you have to be careful because Marco Rubio wants to stain your hands with blood of South American, Caribbean, and Venezuelan. They want to drag you into a bloodbath and stain your name, Trump, for all eternity with a massacre against the people of Venezuela, with a terrible war against South America and the Caribbean, because this would be all-out war in the continent.
While the U.S. Navy has sent multiple ships to the region, including destroyers and amphibious assault vessels, officials insist the deployments are aimed at tackling drug trafficking and not launching an invasion. Still, Maduro's rhetoric makes it clear he sees the situation as far more dangerous, warning that any misstep could trigger widespread regional instability. In the meantime, China staged its biggest military parade this week, a massive show of strength marking the end of the World War II. But the real headline wasn't just the tanks, missiles, and hypersonic drones rolling down the avenue. It was who showed up. Alongside Russia's Vladimir Putin and North Korea's Kim Jong Un were leaders from a range of countries, including India, Iran, and Myanmar, part of a broader gathering of nations challenging the traditional Western-led order. Washington, of course, is watching closely because for once, the United States isn't the main player. The parade was more than weapons showcase. It was a clear political message. China and its allies are flexing their muscles and signaling a shift toward a multipolar world. From underwater drones to fighter jets, the display was as much about influence and alliances as it was about raw firepower. And naturally, Putin reassured everyone that Russia would never attack anyone, completely believable, of course. Meanwhile, Kim Jong Un, as expected, brought along his private toilet, part of his usual routine to prevent anyone from analyzing his health. Global power plays can be deadly serious, but sometimes even the fate of the world comes down to bathroom logistics. America's top health agency has been in chaos for weeks. 9 former CDC directors warned that AHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s leadership is unlike anything our country has ever experienced. And yes, that's really how they put it. The essay comes after months of upheaval, including the firing of CDC Director Susan Menares, who reportedly refused to approve orders former experts called reckless. Kennedy has focused on unproven treatments, downplayed vaccines, canceled important research, and replaced qualified advisors with fellow skeptics. These moves triggered a wave of departures from the CDC, leaving the agency in ongoing disarray. The former directors warned this could hurt public health at home and abroad, including ending U.S. support for vaccination programs that protect millions of children all around the world. Their message: Congress, states, and private donors may need to step in. Right now, America's public health system is supposed to rely on science, but at the moment, it feels more like it's running on hope, luck, and questionable guidance. A Houston man has been charged with murder after an 11-year-old boy was shot while playing a ding-dong ditch prank on Saturday night. 42-year-old Gonzalo Leon Jr. allegedly fired at the child as he ran away from a house. The boy, Julian Guzman, was taken to a hospital and died the next day. Houston police said the shooting did not appear to involve self-defense as it occurred some distance from the home. Ding-dong ditch pranks, which have grown popular on social media, have sparked deadly incidents in other states in recent years, including Virginia and California. Leon was booked into Harris County Jail Tuesday morning and faces murder charges. Oklahoma, in the meantime, is making teachers from California and New York take an America First test before they can even get a license. And who's given the test, you might ask? PragerU, the conservative media company that's been turning politics into short, slick videos for years. The exam asks questions about American exceptionalism, gender, and religion, but really, it's a loyalty test in disguise. Sure, only a handful of teachers will ever take it, but the message is loud and clear. Think like Oklahoma or don't teach here. Adding questions about religion, hand the answer key to a right-wing group, and suddenly teaching in the state feels like political litmus test every day. This comes after a year of Bible lessons, election conspiracies, and attempts to religious charter schools. Democrats and unions call it partisan theater, but the takeaway is obvious. If you want to teach here, you better toe the line. Scary moments at Hershey Park on Saturday when a little boy somehow ended up walking on a monorail track. He had gotten separated from his parents just after 5 p.m. and wandered into a closed ride area, chained gates, barricaded turnstiles and all. For about 20 minutes, the boy teetered along the tracks while crowds below tried to guide him to safety. Eventually, a brave park guest climbed up and helped him down.
Keep walking.
Stop! Keep going! No! No! Keep going! No, this way!
He was reunited with his parents around 5:30 p.m., completely fine. The park thanked guests and staff for their quick thinking, reminding everyone they're committed to keeping visitors safe. However, this comes just a month after a 9-year-old girl tragically drowned in the wave pool, though police said the park followed safety rules. Hershey Park says it's taking extra care to make sure scary accidents like this don't happen again, but maybe keep the kids away from the monorail, just in case. Nestlé just canned its CEO, Lauren Frecks, after an internal investigation revealed an undisclosed romantic relationship with a direct subordinate. The move was effective immediately. Frecks, who'd been at Nestlé for nearly 4 decades and a CEO for just a year, will be replaced by a longtime executive, Philip Navratil. The company says it was a necessary decision and that its values and governance remain strong, apparently stronger than Frecks' sense of office boundaries. This follows a recent wave of high-profile executive shakeups and comes not long after the Coldplay CEO scandal reminded the world that corporate romances can get messy fast. Nestlé is also navigating rising commodity costs and tariffs, proving that sometimes the hardest thing to manage isn't cocoa prices, it's HR. Good news first, the young fan who lost his hat at the US Open is back in business. Kamil Marchuk's cap, snatched by a grown man during the match, has been returned and apologies have been made. Piotr Szczerek, CEO of a Polish paving company, posted on social media on Monday admitting he made a mistake, thinking the hat was meant for his sons who had asked for an autograph earlier. He said he apologized personally and took full responsibility for his extremely poor judgment and hurtful actions. Marchuk also reached out to the boy's family and met with them, giving him a new hat and taking photos together. The player even posted an image of him and the young fan smiling together, captioned, "Hello world, together with Brock, we wish you a great day." The original incident went viral over the weekend, but now everyone can Move on, well, at least until the next hat goes missing at a tennis match. And that's all for now. The top stories of the day, no fluff, straight to the point. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. I'm Kat Pokras. See you next time.